Hi, I'm Bret Contreras, and in this video I'm going to go over a very important concept, and this concept is on neuromuscular training, neuromuscular re-education, motor control training, whatever you want to call it. It has different names. But this is something that comes up in the literature, maybe 5 studies every month will pop up. And you get a really good grip on this topic once you're reading this stuff every month, month in, month out. And this is something as a beginner strength coach I didn't know much about, and I was wrong with my assumptions. And I think a lot of you guys are probably in the same boat. You probably have this topic pegged wrong, and it's really, really important that you understand this. So basically the topic is about how do we improve people's form. I'm not just talking about lifting weights, I'm talking about athletics, sporting skills, say jumping, landing, sprinting, agility, cutting side to side, change of direction, throwing, swinging, all these different activities. Let's take jumping for example. Let's say you film somebody jumping and you notice they come down and their knees cave in, valgus collapse, knee valgus, and they jump up, or when they land, they come down and land and their knees cave in. Or maybe when they're squatting, their knees cave in, or something like this. Could be a lot of different things. I read a study on sprint mechanics a couple months ago that was very eye-opening, where they had the runners were running on treadmills, and they said, these were all runners who had very poor running form, and their knees caved in when they ran, and they had too much collapse going on. And they told the runners, when you run, I want you to envision, running in a straight line. I don't want your legs, caving inwards, and I want you to focus using your glute when you run. I want that glute to contract. And so it dramatically improved their running mechanics. And every time I see a study where they're using neuromuscular training or re-education or motor control training, it always improves mechanics. Every time. I mean, pretty much every study that comes out, it always shows improvements. But the same can't be said for strength training. So I used to think, okay, this person's knees are collapsing when they land or when they jump, and I would think, okay, I just got to give them X-band walks, give them sumo walks, monster walks, things like this. Have them put a band around their knees and have them squat. And that's going to automatically solve the problem. Well, it doesn't automatically solve the problem. Think about it. Why did they start collapsing in the first place? It's probably because of weak, glute medius, upper glute max, hip rotators. These muscles were weak, and they started, so they initially learned how to jump and land with their knees caving in. But they have practiced that and reinforced that thousands and possibly hundreds of thousands of times. On the field, on the court, in practices and scrimmages. This is the way their brain knows how to jump, how to land. And so you're trying to reprogram that. You're going to get a lot more bang for your buck by using neuromuscular re-education than using just strength training, because you can get the muscles stronger, and that does not automatically mean that they're going to improve their mechanics. So to me, you get a lot more bang for your buck when you do something like this. Film, I have a flip cam that I'm using right now. Film them jumping, and if you have some sort of software you can show them in slow motion, that's great. I don't have that. I just will replay it. I'll plug it into the computer so I have a nice big screen, and I show them on my computer. All right, watch when you jump, watch when you squat, watch when you land, watch what happens. Your knees cave in. See that? A lot of times they don't even know that's what's happening. And they're like, oh. And then you say, ideally, your knees are supposed to track over your toes. When you jump, I want you right here, not right here. And then you have them practice. And then you show them again. All right? It's a little bit better. Still not perfect. Then you show them again. Oh, okay. That's how it's supposed to look. And then now they will remember this every time they jump, every time they're running, whatever you're trying to improve. Now they're thinking, okay, I got to make sure my knees track over my toes or whatever. And then they will eventually, this will become automatic for them. So I've seen, different studies on motor control training, and, I read something once that it takes 10,000 repetitions to form a motor engram. A motor engram is something like a you know, it's like an automatic movement habit, a memorized movement pattern. And I don't think there's some definite number, whether it's 10,000 or 1,000 or 100,000, it probably depends on the person. But they're going to get there a lot quicker. They're going to improve their form a lot quicker when you use neuromuscular retraining compared to strength training. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do X-band walks and monster walks and things like that. Glute activation work has been shown to improve subsequent power production. A lot of coaches use, you know, glute activation training in their dynamic warm-up, and it's a good thing to do. And I personally believe that the best strategy to improve someone's form, okay, if they are landing in valgus collapse, strengthen their muscles, do the glute activation in the warm-up, but then do a specific neuromuscular re-education component for those people, and they're going to get there so much faster than they did before. So, just summarize what I'm trying to say is, don't just assume that strength training is the answer. I'm going to give them X-band walks, you know, and they're going to all of a sudden, since they're activating these muscles, now when they jump and they land, they're going to activate those muscles properly because they've got to coordinate that into a new skill. It's a new skill. Most people have the strength. When you look at the EMG of jumping and landing and things, you know, the glute medius isn't firing at max capacity. It's just that, you know, they've learned to land this way. They've learned to kind of, instead of stabilizing the muscles, let their knees cave in, stabilize with some of the ligaments and things like that. It's just, it was probably originally did it to make up for weak muscles, and now they've memorized that pattern. You've got to retrain their nervous system to move in a different fashion, and with enough practice, you know, perfect practice makes perfect, they will get it. It will become habitual, it'll become, you know, they will reach automaticity, but you will get much more bang for your buck focusing on motor control training rather than just strength training, but do them both. Do the glute activation stuff in the warm-up, and then use a separate component of motor control training, and that's going to give you the most bang for your buck. But this is a topic that, you know, you see studies coming out, 5 studies a month, and I'll always look over them, and, you know, strength training doesn't always work, but neural re-education does work, and do them both. Do them both, but know that one is more important than the other. Thanks for watching.